Right now, there's a farmer 3 counties over who hasn't been stung once this summer, and he's got more honeybees working his clover than anybody else on his road. His secret isn't some fancy exterminator. It's a mason jar, a splash of apple juice, and a little white powder most folks throw out with the laundry soap. That's it. That's the whole trick. And in about 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how he does it. Nest by nest, right here in this barn. If you've got a barn, a shed, a covered porch, any place with eaves and rafters and quiet corners, you've got wasps, or you will. Doesn't matter how new the building is. Doesn't matter how clean you keep it. Come July, they move in like it's rent-free. Which, let's be honest, it is. Now, you go to the hardware store, and they'll sell you a can of spray for $8, $9. Maybe it works on the nest you can see. But here's the thing nobody tells you. That spray doesn't touch the nests you can't see. The ones tucked behind the soffit. The ones up under that top rafter you'd need a ladder and a prayer to reach. You spray what's in front of you, and 2 weeks later, there's a brand new nest 6 feet away, like the first one never happened. And it's not just annoying. Yellowjackets and hornets get aggressive fast, especially late summer when the colony's big and the food's getting scarce. A nest by your back door isn't just a nuisance. That's a kid or a grandkid getting stung, maybe somebody with an allergy. That's a real risk sitting right over your head every time you walk in and out. Here's the other problem, and this is the one that really gets me. A lot of these sprays don't know the difference between a wasp and a honeybee. You go blasting away at everything buzzing around your barn, and you're just as likely to knock out the bees pollinating your garden as you are the wasps building nests in your rafters. And once your honeybee population takes a hit, it takes a hit on your tomatoes, your squash, your fruit trees, everything. So you need something that goes after the wasps specifically. Something that gets the whole nest, not just the few you can see. And something that doesn't cost you a fortune or a trip to the ER. That's exactly what we're doing today. This is the one my granddad used to swear by, and it's still the best trick in the book for wiping out a whole colony. Not just the wasps you see flying around, but every single one back in that nest, including the queen. Wasps are scavengers. They're out looking for sugar and protein to bring back and feed the colony. So instead of chasing down every wasp one at a time, you let them do the work for you. You mix a little pure boric acid into something sweet. Apple juice does the trick perfectly. And the wasps drink it up, then fly it straight back to the nest and share it with everybody else. A few days later, that whole colony's gone, and you never had to touch the nest at all. 1. Take a small container, an old margarine tub, a mason jar lid, even a bottle cap works for a small batch. 2. Pour in about a half cup of apple juice. 3. Stir in roughly a quarter teaspoon of pure boric acid. You want it dissolved, not sitting in clumps at the bottom. 4. Drop in a little wooden stick or a twig, angled so it pokes up out of the liquid. That gives the wasps something to land on so they don't drown before they can feed. 5. Set these containers up near where you're seeing wasp activity, along fence rails, on top of posts, tucked under the eaves. Now here's the part that matters most. This bait doesn't pull in honeybees the way it pulls in wasps. Bees are after nectar and pollen, not the kind of sugary, fermented smell apple juice gives off once it sits out a bit. So you can set these out around your property and go on about your business, knowing your bees are going to leave it be. A bottle of pure boric acid runs about $6 to $8 and will last you the whole season. Apple juice, maybe $2 a jug. You're looking at pennies per trap. Once you've knocked back the existing wasps, the next question is keeping new ones from moving in. And this is where a lot of folks waste money spraying the same spots over and over, week after week. Delta dust is a fine powder, and unlike a liquid spray that dries up and disappears in a day, this stuff clings to surfaces, even outdoors, even through rain, for months at a time. Wasps are constantly scouting for new nesting spots, and when they land somewhere dusted, they pick it up on their legs and it does its job. It's like putting up a no vacancy sign that actually works. 1. Grab a hand duster, a cheap little pump applicator, maybe $5 on its own if you don't already have one. 2. Load it with Delta dust. 3. Puff a light coating around your eaves, up in the rafters, around light fixtures, in the corners of your porch ceiling, anywhere you've noticed nests starting before. You don't need much. A light dusting goes a long way, and a little container will cover a whole barn with plenty left over. A container of Delta dust typically runs $15 to $20, and that one container can carry you through an entire season, sometimes longer, depending on how much ground you're covering. Now, for a nest that's already built and out in the open, hanging off a rafter, tucked under a porch rail, you don't always need a chemical spray. Sometimes the cheapest fix is sitting under your kitchen sink. This one's simple physics, not chemistry. Dish soap breaks down the surface tension of water and clogs up the tiny breathing pores wasps have along their bodies. Spray it on directly and it works fast. Usually within a minute or two, the nest goes quiet. 1. Fill a spray bottle most of the way with water. 2. Add in a generous few tablespoons of Dawn dish soap. You want it soapy enough to see suds when you shake it. 3. Shake it up good before you spray. You want to soak the nest thoroughly, not just mist it. And I'll say this plainly. Do this at dusk or after dark, when the wasps are calmer, and mostly all home for the night. Wear long sleeves, and if it's Yellowjackets you're dealing with, be extra careful. They're a different breed of aggressive compared to your average paper wasp, practically free if you've already got dish soap in the house. Maybe 50 cents worth of product per nest. Now here's an important exception, and it's one I want you to really pay attention to. If you've got a nest built up near a light fixture, an outlet, or any wiring, you do not want to be spraying water-based soap solutions anywhere close to that. Water and electricity are a bad combination, plain and simple. For those spots, you reach for something like Wasp Freeze II. It's a pressurized spray that knocks the nest out almost instantly on contact. And because it's not water-based, it's safe to use around fixtures and wiring where the soap trick isn't an option. Stand back the recommended distance on the can, spray directly at the nest opening, and give it a solid few seconds. You'll usually see activity stop within moments. A can runs somewhere around $8 to $12 and will handle several nests before it's empty. These aren't tricks somebody dreamed up last year to sell you a subscription box. Boric acid bait, dusting powders, soap and water. This is what folks were doing on farms 2-3 generations back, long before every problem had a fancy branded solution sitting on a store shelf. And the reason these old methods are still worth using isn't nostalgia. It's that they actually target the pest instead of blasting everything in sight. You protect your bees, you protect your family, and you're not spending money every single week on another can that only half does the job. So that's the whole system. Bait for the nests you can't reach, dust to keep new ones from starting, soap for what's out in the open, and freeze spray for anything too close to a wire. Between the 4 of these, you shouldn't need to call an exterminator again. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these you're trying first. And if you've got a trick your own grandparents used that we didn't cover here today, share it below, because that's exactly what this channel's about. Next video, we're tackling the ant problem nobody can seem to shake. Another one straight out of the old farmhouse playbook. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and come back for it. Stay safe out there around these nests, folks. And remember, the old ways usually stuck around because they worked. We just forgot to ask why.